Hey, how to read the home inspection report. Not as scary as it looks. A lot of times you get the home inspection report, and you go in a contract, get a home inspection report, you get the report, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's 50 pages long. Oh, this house is terrible. Not necessarily. So I'm going to go over how to read it and kind of break it down and that sort of thing. Hi, I'm Preston Sound. I own Home Inspection Carolina in Charlotte, North Carolina. And yeah, we've been doing inspections for 20, gosh, probably going on about 25 years now. The reports have changed over time. But yeah, I'm going to break down, you know, it's not as scary as it looks. Um, Let me address the first myth that just because a home inspection report is long, the house is terrible. Not necessarily true. There's a lot, I mean, could be true, but not necessarily true. There's a lot of verbiage in there that a lot of times the state requires for inspectors to put in there, which makes it a little bit longer. Also, the pictures, and then there's a summary section. So if the pictures are in the report and the summary, you see that can make it a lot longer. Um, and then also that can make it longer. And a lot of people like we put like size of the filters, kind of like an owner's manual type stuff, a lot of informative stuff, which doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with the house, just kind of an operating manual of the house, so to speak, to help them. So that can make the report longer. So let me dispel that myth. So let me bring up a little handout that we created, and I'll try to put this in the description, put it on the website. It's not on there just yet because I don't know how to do it. I got even people to do it. But let's go to. All right, you can see that. I'm recording the screen. All right, it's not as scary as it looks. A couple of things to think about, and again, this will be on our website. Hopefully, by the time you look at this, it's not right as of the recording because I don't know how to do it. All right, so there is no pass fail. The inspection report is a snapshot of the home's condition at the time of the inspection. It's no kind of warranty or guarantee. I mean, the AC could be working fine today and go out tomorrow. Um, there is no pass fail. I hear that. It's not an evaluation to code or an appraisal. Appraisal is the value of the house that the bank's going to require. It's the home inspector's just looking at its functionality and livability. Code is a whole different thing. That's when the house is built or remodel or something like that. There's certain rules that have to be followed, and a lot of stuff. It's stages of construction that have to pass code, and that's not what the home inspection is. Couple of report components to break it down. You get this big report, and you're like, all right, well, hang on, let's digest this, and just like a menu. When you get a menu at a restaurant, you have the starters, the salad, appetizers, the main course, the sides, the drinks. Same thing with a home inspection report. There's certain sections, and once you realize that, all right, now it starts to become a little more digestible. Oh, waka waka waka. All right, I won't quit my day job. But anyway, so there's a table of contents, and then there's sections. All the sections are divided by the areas. Like you've got the roof, the electrical, the plumbing, HVAC, interior. You can go to the table of contents and see this, but it's basically broke down into sections of the house. And at the very end of the report is a summary, which is a summary. What usually happens is, as the home inspector is writing the report, if it's something that needs further attention, repair, something like that, they're going to tag it for the summary in the report, and then the report automatically also reproduces that in the summary. So a summary is kind of a snapshot of usually the more safety items or things that need attention. However, do not only read the summary. That is a big mistake. A lot of people do, and then they miss something. Um, I recommend reading the full report. You can start with the summary and kind of look at it, but do not read the report. I just butchered the English language there, but summary page, big picture items, often safety, major defects, important, but not the whole story. This page has been moved to the back of the report, so the clients are encouraged to read the report in full. And I'm also going to tell you something. Remember when I told you that as the home inspector's writing the report, they tag items for the summary. Um, they may accidentally not tag something, and it's in the body of the report, but it's not in the summary. And there is no requirement of, like, you can't go back and, like, you didn't ask for something to be repaired because it wasn't in the summary. Well, it's not required. I mean, you can't, it was in the report. So, I mean, there is that's why I read the whole report. I mean, and that's sort of an evaluation. There's no like, this needs to be summary, this not. I mean, that's described, what you think is a big item might not be to the inspector and vice versa. Read the whole report. It'll eliminate all this problem. Um, so anyway, a couple of things. Um, Levels of concern. Well, okay, so when you read the report, there's going to be building materials, polybutylene piping, HVAC, electrical types, location, main water shutoff, GFCI, AFCI outlets. You need to know where all those things trip in case they trip accidentally sometimes, which they will. Limitations is going to be in the full report, things that they couldn't get to, they couldn't access. And home inspectors cannot predict the future or see through walls. Unlike Superman, although there are some tools we may be able to one day, but as of now, we can't. Um, Prepare clients up front. I mean, no house is perfect. Even new builds have some problem. Um, Help clients prioritize versus panic. Focus on health and safety, significant expense items. So, in other words, the home inspector comes up with a whole bunch of items. And you look at this, and you're going to have to negotiate, and there's going to be some give and take. The things you really want, if you have to give up on some things you really want are the higher, expensive things, like going to need an HVAC system and safety issues. You got a handrail or deck that's really, really loose and you got a small child, that's a safety concern. Um, so anyway, I want to show you the repair request we have at Home Inspection Carolina. A lot of inspection companies have that, and I'll go over that in just one second. Um, so, attend the inspection. We recommend stopping for the last 30 minutes or an hour. You don't have to come for the whole inspection because it may be boring. And, we also recommend not to follow the inspector around, but at least the last 30 minutes to an hour of the inspection so you can, the inspector's going to, finish, give you a summary and take you through the pictures of what they found. Uh, Encourage, follow-up calls with the inspectors for clarity. Get the inspector's phone number. So if you go back and when you get the report, usually going to get the report the next day. Um, if you have any questions or you're not sure about something, again, read the full report, not just the summary. Inspection reports are a tool. When used well, they help manage client expectations, focus negotiations on the important stuff, and build trust and you as their guide through the process. We hope to be your inspection partner along the way. Little plug for us. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing this. I don't think I can go from one thing to the other without like stopping. So now I want to, hopefully I can bring up the repair request and show you how that works. So hopefully you guys, oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure we're seeing it here. Hang on a second. Um, okay, open that. That's the page I want. Oh, maybe I need to move it. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. There we go. You guys seeing that now? It was on my other screen. Sorry about that. I got like 3 screens. All right, so let's go through this. So when you do an inspection with Home Inspection Carolina, you get the repair request. So in the old days, you would read the report or whatever, and you would cut and paste or circle this, and we want this repaired. We're not, So what happens is all the items come up, and then you have a you have a choice on each one. So let's go through about 5 items here. We won't go through the entire thing, but so this is a inspection. So 45 Honeybee Lane, and looks like you got a ridge vent there that's loose. Um, let's say you want to repair that, or you could accept it as is. You know, that's something we're going to negotiate and give up on that. But if you, let's say repair that, okay, boom, save that. This is building the request. And you see the little bar up there at the top. It's as it goes across each one. Let's see what this one is. A common seam where the stucco ledger meets under the deck. I recommend silicone. Yeah, that needs to be done. Let's see what we can do. Let's repair that one also. We'll do one here where we skip in a minute. And you see it's building up the code. Um, ballast rail soft or deteriorated. One area weathers needs prep and paint. Let's say on this one, yeah, we definitely want that fixed, but we know a really, really good deck guy. Let's say we think we can get that fixed for $1,000. You know, all the stuff on the deck. So we're gonna say $1,000. Want that? Um, all right. You know, and if we ever accept one as is, so this might be one. Thorny bushes, vegetation obstructing access to locale. I mean, we could trim that bush back, no big deal. So let's just accept that as it is. We can fix that ourselves. You've got water around the light fixture here. Now, I didn't do this actual inspection. And I mean, this is actually the demo for the software. So I don't know. A lot of times you'll get water stains around these light fixtures because what happens is inside the wall, there's no insulation right there. So condensation will build up and will cause these stains. You know, that's actually not as big a deal. You're just going to need to get more insulation or foam or something around there. However, if it is an actual leak, that's going to be a bigger deal. Um, I don't know in this case what it is because of where it is. It may just be condensation that's built up because it. What happens is you got the air conditioning on in your house. It's really cold in there, and there's no insulation here, so that moisture in the wall or wherever, you know, beads up on the outside of that wall because there's no insulation, just like a cold drink would. Um, that would be easy. You just need more foam or, you know, something like that. But however, I do want them to fix that. So we're going to go just repair. Boom. And we're almost done here, 83%. Spray nozzle inoperable at laundry room sink. So I'm guessing this thing here doesn't work. That should be a pretty easy repair. I mean, even if you had to buy a new nozzle, I don't anticipate that being very much. Let's just say add to the list. Um, let's say on that one we want to replace it. Shouldn't be much. Replace the hose in the nozzle. Okay. All right. View request list. So now this will generate when you get the report. Now, obviously, you'd have more items than this. It automatically generates the repair request for you. So this is a request list for Honeybee Farms, and you have on here what you've requested. So now you can send this over to the seller's agent or the seller, and you know, plus you want a monetary compensation. It shows you right here, replace one item, repair these three, and we want a monetary request of $1,000. So boom, your repair request is all taken care of. So you know, there's that makes it a lot easier, and your repair request is a lot easier. I want to for a second though show you what an actual report looks like now that we've talked about and we've kind of danced around a little bit. Let's look at an actual report. So I'm going to pull up, this is a report straight from our um, home inspection Carolina. It's actually our sample report. Let me make sure I got the right tab here. Do, 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 do. Hmm, where is it though? Um, it's actually, let me see if this will work. Okay, I'm going to need to pull this into our screen. Sorry, I apologize. I downloaded this. So, sample report. If you go to Home Inspection Carolina, this is the actual report that you will get. It's an actual home inspection that we did, and the house is closed by now. It was about a year ago, 9/14, but we've changed the name, the address to protect the innocent, guilty, whatever you want to say. I know where this is, though. I can tell by the I can tell by the thing. But anyway, I didn't do the inspection, but somebody in our company did. So remember, we talked about all the different sections. Let's go through this real quick. It's a 50-page report. But remember, when we break it all down, it's not that scary. So, table of contents. So, if you need to go directly to it, comes in a PDF when you get it, Acrobat PDF, pretty common. Um, Table of contents, intro page, and then it's broke down into sections: deck, exterior, grounds, roof, and at the very end is going to be the summary. Well, darn it. I don't know. Sorry, I went a whole page. But anyway, so in the very beginning, you're just going to have information, the building type, the temperature, and that's important because, let's say it's very, very cold day, like 20 degrees. You can't check a heat pump's heat or I'm sorry, you can't check a heat pump. You can't run the air conditioning part of it because that could damage the system because the freon and the lubricant split apart. But anyway, it kind of tells you a little bit longer of what we already said. If they recommend getting a qualified person to look at it, do that. Definitely do that. And if they do some sort of repairs, I would ask for some type of receipt, hopefully warranty guarantee. So if the repair didn't work, you have some recourse. Um, Again, just a little bit of disclaimers and information. This is important. Read all this, and it's on our um, sample report. You're welcome to download it. I won't bore you with reading, right through it. So we start off with the deck, um, and let me see if I can zoom in. Basically, this describes all the things. I won't bore you with just reading that out loud, but what I will do is see if I can zoom in. Let me move my thing here so I can navigate this a little better. So, sorry, it's very sensitive. You've got some floor joists here that need some bracing, otherwise they're like could be wopsy lopsy, either cross bracing or block bracing to keep those things from wobbling left or right. You've got an overspan here that's overhanging too far, kind of a cantilever type situation. Um, yeah, this is not right. So this is the outer rim joist. That should be a double. And it should be in the center of the pier. So you just got a single and it's barely hanging on the edge. You're just not really getting good support. And if you got several people out on that deck, that probably could fail pretty easily. Um, some of these things aren't attached, they should be bolted. I mean, I don't want to make this thing go all day. I'm just hitting some highlights. Some issues you got here is, oh gosh, anything over 4 foot, you should have Y bracing or cross bracing. Again, it can be really wobbly. Um, yeah, this is not supported. Yeah, this deck, man, it needs some help. You've got some what looks to be carpenter bee damage here. That needs to be replaced. Yeah, lots of this deck needs some help for sure. Um, so now we're getting into exterior foundation. Again, read all this. There's some disclaimers, the type of siding. Dryer vent is already, I can tell you, it should close on its own. It probably needs to be cleaned. You never want a screen on it. I don't see a screen here, but that could be a fire hazard. Um, yeah, that's not a good placement there where it's right up against. I don't like that. Cracking noted exterior foundation along the basement level. This may indicate possible. Oh, yeah, you got some cracking here. Some settlement. Could be some movement. If that was all I saw, I'd probably be okay with it. But if I see that cracking with some more cracking, the drainage system, yeah, they've got, oh yeah, you've got these, this is the gutters coming into piping here, but it needs to be buried a little bit better because right now it's coming up and the lawnmowers and whatnot are damaging as it goes across. It'll also become homes for rats. Ask me how I know because I had to get them out of mine in my house. Gutter clamps loose on these. That needs to be fixed. Pretty easy to do, not a high dollar thing. Um, yeah, this is not good. They cut a rafter in the attic. It looks like to run some duct work. That shouldn't happen. Um, yeah, the exhaust vent needs to connect all the way up there to the top. Oh yeah, there's a leak here, so I can tell you exactly what this is right here. So this is a plumbing boot, or a plumbing vent going up through the roof, and there's a boot there, and then that boot, the rubber, you know, gets dry and cracks, and then you start getting leaks. They need new plumbing boots, the rubber boots around the vent there on the outside. I would definitely want that replaced. Good news is it's not very expensive, but if you don't fix it, it's going to eventually mess up that sheathing there. Um, got some plumbing issues here. Oh, talking about polybutylene. Uh, that's a whole nother discussion about polybutylene. I don't know if I want to get into that right now. I just want to make sure it's not leaking at the time of the inspection. You just because you have polybutylene does not mean it has to be replaced. Got some thoughts on that though. I do recommend a water conditioning system on it um, because of the chlorinated water can cause problems. Also, the first generation polybutylene had some issues with the connectors. I think that's second generation polybutylene. Let me look. If it has copper connectors and elbows, yeah, yeah, copper fittings installed, so that's good. Um, so far, I definitely would ask for that deck stuff. Um, Components inspect this sign laundry and water shut offs. Water shut offs. Sign there. That's interesting. Again, I didn't do this inspection. Somebody at our company did. But what you're going to do though is get that repair request on this and just go through it like we did before. Now there's going to be more than 5 items. All those deck items would pop up on it. Yeah, thank goodness, because there's a lot of electrical issues here. It looks like too. This is them writing it all out. Recommend you read it. I don't want to make this video an hour and a half long though. We're just gonna maybe go right to the pictures. Let me see if I can increase it a little bit more. All right, good deal. So open junction boxes, they all need to be have caps on them because you could have a spark if the wiring comes loose. Oh yeah, they've got some herky jerky wiring there. Yeah, there's some issues with this. I think looks like they had somebody hook up this recessed lighting that wasn't really a professional. It was probably a DIY job. It doesn't look like an electrician did this. So the problem is like an open junction box. If you got an open junction box, which is basically, the wires are twisted and they put wire caps on it. If for some reason they become a little bit separated, they'll spark. Now, as long as it's in a junction box with the cap on it, that spark will not go anywhere and it'll go out. But if it got don't have if it's not covered, there's a potential for it to come out and get on something that's combustible, which would cause problems. You got some open grounds. Um, which will not protect you. A surge protector wouldn't work. Um, different things. Anyway, I don't want to. We could go all day long on each thing, but I'm just again, we're going through the sections of the report. Go through it, read it. I'm kind of zooming in on the pictures because I'm a home inspector and that's what I'm looking for. But do the each one of the reading things corresponds with a picture, so you can go down and look at it. Bathrooms. I'll just quickly go through this. Looks like there might be some issues with the toilet. The drains slow. Probably got a partial clogging, or needs to be cleared out. Let's just go to the kitchen. Oh, we're in the crawl space. Oops, I must have jumped. Um, oh yeah, you got some fungus going on here, some mold growth. Um, looks like you've got some. This is like some moisture's coming through here, and it's causing when water goes through like block like this, the salt in the water, the minerals in the water will stay, and it causes effervescence. So you're getting some moisture penetration here. Um, we really want to stop that. The best way is to stop it from the outside. You can buy stuff to coat it on the inside. There, that's a whole nother video on that. You can't just do that Willy Wonka. You got to sort of study up and do that correct way. But my first thought too is like, what is the drainage like out there? I wonder if that's from that where those corrugated pipes aren't draining the water away properly. Maybe it's putting a lot more water beside the foundation that could cause that. But I would investigate, why is this water coming in here, and can we stop it and divert it away? So again, yeah, you got something leaking here. Oh yeah, that's the main water line that's leaking. That absolutely has to be fixed. That could be contributing to, so you got this leak under here, got a lot of moisture. Moisture's trying to evaporate, and if it can't, it's going to get up into the wood and the insulation. That may be what's starting to cause that mold growth as well. So the leak needs to be fixed. Um, effervescence, still more effervescence noted. Uh, wood and drainage, yeah, this is not good. This was sometimes when they pour concrete or something, they leave the form boards, which is, basically candy for termites. They've put down some stuff, rapid dry or damp red, which, that tells me they've had a problem they've tried to fix. Um, between me and you being a home inspector, they've got moisture in here, and it looks to me like it's two sources. It's that leak at this thing there, and possibly coming in those walls. So number one, stop the leak. Number two, that's coming in the walls. How's the drainage on the outside of that? Is the drainage getting away from the house, or is there a lot of water upside the house? Going into the basement, you got some that dry rapid seal. So it does seem like we got a little bit of an issue with moisture. So that pretty much concludes the report here on 33, I think. And what you're going to see is the summary and maybe the termite report, which we usually add. So let's go on to, yeah. So this is the summary, which is basically everything we just went through, just super duper condensed, without a lot of the disclaimers and extra information. But again, I recommend reading the entire report. Don't just read the summary. That's a mistake. The state makes us have a summary, but like I said, it isn't. It isn't real clear on what needs to be a summary and what doesn't need to be a summary, and that could be a difference of opinion. So you can't use the summary as a repair request and then be mad at the home inspector when he or she had something in the main report but didn't have it in the summary. It was in the report. You didn't read the whole report. If you so, not to sound bad, but read the whole report. Again, this is the summary, and I don't know at the very end of this if there is a termite report. A lot of times we'll add it or send that separately. But yeah, this is the summary. Probably getting close to the end of the report. It's the same pictures. It's just the summary of it. And usually we have all the inspectors' information and all that. So that's basically it. Um, the inspection report shouldn't be scary. It's not as scary as it looks. Just remember that you get this long thing. It's basically going to have information at the front, time, date, place, that sort of stuff, logistics. And then it's going to have a table of contents and then all the sections of the house and then broken down in sections and then a summary. Okay. And the summary is just going to be a repeat of the report, but, kind of in a more condensed version. I recommend reading the summary and recommending reading the entire report. We have a thing, an automated repair request, where we send you the report and each item comes up and you have those choices. We went through that to make the repair request to the other party a little bit easier. A lot of other inspection companies have that as well. Um, if you're choosing an inspection company, that may be a question you want to ask them because it sure does make your life a lot easier. However, that alone wouldn't be the reason I did or did not choose an inspection company. That would have more to do with the reviews, the reputation, that sort of thing. But if they have an automated repair request like that, it's definitely a bonus. But anyway, I hope that has been helpful. I'll have this home inspection not as scary as it looks on our website at homeinspectioncarolina.com soon. I just got to get the people who work with me that know how to do that to put it on there where you can download it. But there are a lot of other free downloads, walkthrough checklist, maintenance items, all kinds of stuff. So check it out, a seller's inspection checklist. So if you have a house and you're getting ready to sell it, there's a checklist of what the inspector is going to be looking for. So check it out at homeinspectioncarolina.com. Thank you for watching this video. If you hung with me the whole time, thank you, thank you, thank you. And please like, subscribe, whatever the kids do. It'll probably be one of these buttons. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but yeah, thanks a lot. And follow us, homeinspectioncarolina.com. And congratulations on your new home. Thanks a lot.